Do you have to give the court your reason for divorce? No. Thankfully, we now have no-fault grounds, and it is nobody's business why your marriage is ending. There are a lot of reasons why people don't want to put the reason their marriage is ending into the court system. Number one, your court documents, they're public. They're public record. That means that your boss, your sister-in-law, your really nosy neighbor can go and look it up and figure out why you're getting divorced, if you put it in the paperwork. It also means that your kids, or maybe even your grandkids someday, might stumble across this on Ancestry.com or whatever else is happening in the future, where you can look at court documents and find out why people got divorced. And it's nobody's business, unless you want to put it out there. So, do you need to tell the court your reasons for getting a divorce? No. You file on no-fault grounds and you move forward, because you're not focused on your past. You're focused on your new beginning. If you do choose to name grounds in your divorce, they can potentially impact your asset division. Probably not as much as you think. There's a myth out there that a lot of people think, oh, my ex cheated, I'm gonna take everything. No, you're not. Not unless you have a prenup or a postnup with a cheating clause. You're not gonna take everything, because the court just doesn't care about the reasons why your marriage broke down. They just don't. They don't care if he or she cheated on you, and they don't care if you had a really horrible marriage. What they look at is the business deal. What did you accumulate and create during your marriage, and how do we equitably divide it? There are, however, some exceptions. The court does care if either spouse dissipated assets. So what do I mean by dissipated assets? If a person perhaps spent a lot of money on a shaman overseas trying to bring the marriage back to life, that might be dissipating assets. If a person spent a lot of money on their paramour, maybe they bought their paramour an apartment in downtown DC so they could go back and forth. The court does care that that apartment came out of marital assets and that that money was dissipated. The court does care if money was dissipated on a gambling problem, perhaps, or a drug problem, or some other thing where money was being spent that was not in the best interest of both parties and their family. Court can also look at dissipation for other reasons. So court does care about that, but they don't particularly care about fault. So, will the grounds for divorce affect your asset division? Maybe, but probably not as much as you think. And that's okay, because today you're not focused on your past, you're focused on your new beginning. Let's divide the assets and move forward so that you can have the new beginning you deserve. Do your grounds for divorce affect your alimony? Do I have to tell the court why I'm getting divorced if I want more alimony or I want to pay less alimony? This is one of those cases where it's also a big fat maybe. In general, the court is not going to really dive into the reasons for the breakdown of the marriage. They don't want the nitty gritty. They don't want the mudslinging in court, and they don't want to get involved in personal lives in kind of the inner workings of your marriage. But they will care in certain ways. They will care if there is dissipation, and they will care if you have a prenup or a postnup that is handling these things. But here is one of the few exceptions where the court does perhaps care about marital fault, meaning people who were cheating or perhaps were abusive or in any other way not treating their spouse well. And that's alimony, because in alimony, there are a lot of different factors that go into alimony, and also multiple different types of alimony. There's pendente lite alimony, meaning alimony while the case is being resolved. There is short-term alimony that is designed to help one spouse get back on their feet, and then there's the long-term or indefinite alimony. And the court, one of many factors that the court may consider is marital fault, because the court's also going to look at the employability of both parties, their ability to be self-supporting. They're going to look at need, ability to pay. They're going to look at separate assets, whether or not each party or either party can survive on them. They're going to look at age and health and a whole bunch of other factors. And so marital fault is one tiny little factor among others. Can it have a big impact? Can that tiny one have a big impact? Yes, but not in every case, and I would say probably not in most. If this is something that you really want to put before the court, you absolutely can. You want to work with an attorney that is going to help you figure out the most graceful and ethical way to do this, because you don't want to go into a court and tick off a judge by mudslinging as much mud as you may have. You want it to show an impact, and you want to show not punish this person with alimony because alimony is not punitive. What you want to show is this person should pay me because I meet all of these factors, including this one. Do your reasons for divorce affect your ability to get custody of your kids? If he or she cheated on you, do you think you should get more custody? A lot of people come to our office thinking that. They think that if he or she cheated, that you're going to get more custody. That's how it works, right? After all, you're the moral, upstanding citizen. You're not the ones who broke down the family. You're not the ones who hurt your children by committing infidelity. Shouldn't the children be with you more? Honestly, unless it's drugs or domestic violence or some other safety issue for the children, the court doesn't care that he or she cheated. They just don't. They care whether or not he or she is a good and competent parent. They care about the best interest of the child. And for most courts, the best interest of the child means spending time with and really knowing each parent and each side of their family. So I'm sorry if you've been cheated on, and I'm sorry that you're still going to have to co-parent with that person, but you really are. And you want to put your kids first because this is their new beginning too. And you want to make sure that they have the best opportunities in their new beginning. And that means knowing both sides of themselves. So, does it matter that he or she cheated? Not for this.